Okay, Andy, how did you get into astrology?
Well, the real story goes is that the person I was dating at the time, I get fixated on topics, so I was really fixated at that time on my garden and what was living, what was dying in my garden. And she said that she was really sick of hearing about my garden, so she got me an astrology book. And then I got onto astrology, and that was that. And now I talk about astrology all the time.
How would you define astrology to the average person that doesn't know anything? It's just getting into it going, whoa, what is this stuff?
Well, astrology, is essentially a study of how the celestial influences affect human life on Earth. On the more mundane forms like money, dating, kids, career, that kind of stuff. My dad's an astrophysicist, and so that's kind of an odd thing that I'm an astrologer, but I find that most astronomers that I know, it's not that they even don't believe in astrology, it's that they're not even that into the human experience. They don't even care about dating, or they don't care about love as much as scientific thought, so they wouldn't be astrologers because you have to have a human interest or some kind of curiosity disorder about the human experience to really be into astrology, because essentially it's a study of humanity through the use of the celestial.
I totally get that. I was a physics major in college, and I was doing an internship for astrophysics, and I wanted to be an astrologer. I felt like a secret agent, learning all their techniques so I could apply it to astrology,
Yeah.
Now I'm writing wave functions about the integral of the character from the limits of the sun to Pluto,
Right.
and freaking them out.
And astrology can be anything. If you're predicting the future with astrology, it in essence is a form of omenology, although it's a very precise form and can be very accurate as far as timing goes form. But it is a form of omenology. You're looking at certain omens in the chart or certain things coming up to tell what's going to happen in the future. So it can be divinatory, but it can also be psychological if you're looking. Basically, astrology is a tool you can use to look at things from almost any angle, but it is very interesting to those who are interested.
How has astrology impacted your life, both personally and as a career?
Well, one of the things I think is fascinating about being an astrologer and knowing the transits and the timing mechanisms of the future is I just struggle a lot with how to know a certain amount of things about the future and still have human relationships that were of an equal and honest nature, because what do you do if you start dating someone and all of a sudden you see that the two of you are going to have some crappy transit 2 months from now, and then if you don't tell the person, then you're having this weird internal struggle about what's going to happen, and then that causes a problem. And if you tell them, it might be that they think that, oh well, God, you believe in this crazy astrology thing and you're making this thing happen, you're manifesting it. And so one of the things that happened to me after learning astrology is that I had to figure out how to navigate the world of human relationships and know the future. So kind of one of the things I started doing was to try to get people to consent to transits with me, oh, we might be doing this hard time next month, do you want to consent to doing that with me, let's make an agreement, so I feel like it's a mutual thing. But I think that astrology doesn't make your life easier. It hasn't making my life easier, because I think when people first find astrology, they assume they found the answer, or, oh, this explains everything. But then it presents a whole new set of problems about how to live and how to interact through the humans. Where if you have a kid and you can see their transit coming, some Pluto on their sun a year from now, you're going to be worried about it a year in advance. Whereas, so it has its benefits, but it also has its struggles. So really, I would say astrology hasn't changed my life that much, because I still have the whole range of human emotions, good to bad. It's just that I think that astrology makes it a little bit more fun and maybe a little bit more juicy.